Hey everybody, welcome back to Wiki Sports. This is Miami Minute, where we cover my favorite team, the Miami Dolphins, and these are tough times for us Dolphins fans. After losing to the 49ers 33-17, the Dolphins dropped their second straight game 23-17 to the Los Angeles Chargers, and this felt a lot worse given the fact that they lost last week. Many people thought that this was the stretch of schedule where we play the 49ers, the Chargers, the Bills, the Packers, the Patriots, and the Jets all in a row. Many people thought this was the toughest stretch of schedule, and it started off 0-2. Not great. We've gone from 8-3, fighting for the very first seed in the AFC, to 8-5, potentially fighting just to make the playoffs. And the way that this season started, with Tua winning all the starts that he made and finished, and the kind of revolutionary almost style of offense that the Dolphins are playing with Mike McDaniel's system, it seemed that we would just roll into the playoffs. But if you've been a Dolphins fan for any amount of time, and if you're watching this video, I assume you have, this is a very familiar feeling to a lot of us. We've seen the Dolphins be in decent, spots to make the playoffs in December, and then it slowly slip away. Well, I'm not saying for sure that's what's going to happen. I also wouldn't blame you if you were starting to get a little bit nervous and were starting to suspect that the Dolphins are going to collapse down the stretch again. Like I said, it's just something, as a Dolphins fan, you're used to. We've seen it before, and we haven't seen sustained success. So it just feels like what's most likely to happen. So, without dwelling too much on the potential in the future, let's talk about this game. As I said, the Dolphins lost 23-17, and Tua had almost certainly his worst game as a pro, going 10 for 28 for 145 yards, one touchdown, no interceptions, but terrible, completing about a third of his passes. Not what we've come to expect from the once most accurate passer in the league, though these last few weeks it really hasn't been the case. And it almost seems like the moment is too big for Tua, which is bizarre to me, given that Tua burst onto the scene at Alabama, bringing the Crimson Tide back from a halftime deficit in the national title. I would think after that there wouldn't be, too many moments that are too big, but perhaps the last couple of years of dealing with Brian Flores have shaken him, have changed how he reacts when it comes to his own confidence. And that's sad, because he's missing throws that he would have hit earlier in the season. He's not getting to the reads of where there are open receivers. So this was a very disappointing showing for Tua, and it was made even worse by the fact that Justin Herbert and Tua are linked forever as the 5th and 6th pick in that 2020 NFL draft. Justin Herbert, for his part, played very well. He went 39-51 for 367 yards, one touchdown, no interceptions. He also, during the game, became the leader in passing yards for players in their third season. And obviously, he still has a good amount of the season left to go. He passed Andrew Luck on that. So, on a night where Tua played his worst, Justin Herbert put up a masterclass. So that certainly adds insult to injury there. Other than Tyreek Hill, who had a 57-yard fumble recovery for a touchdown and a 60-yard reception, the team looked lost. There's no other way to say it, really. And then Tyreek Hill got injured. He was having his ankle worked on constantly throughout the game. So with him out, the Dolphins' offense just looked putrid. With that said, Raheem Mostert led the way on the ground with 37 yards on 11 carries. Jeff Wilson added 26 yards on 4 carries. And it really seemed like Jeff Wilson was going to have a big impact on this game. And unfortunately, he got injured pretty early on. So once he got injured, the running game didn't really go anywhere. And I don't know if that's our refusal to seemingly commit to the run. Again, we only had 16 designed runs yesterday and then 3 scrambles by Tua, who, when it wasn't working through the air, it seems he decided that he needs to run to make some plays, which I respect and I understand, obviously, given his history of injuries this year. We always hold our breath when he does run, but he seemed to be okay on the hits. That wasn't his problem. Tyreek Hill had 4 receptions for 81 yards and a touchdown. Jalen Waddle had 2 for 31. And Cedric Wilson had 2 for 19. Everyone else didn't really show up. Very disappointing, especially with Waddle just kind of disappearing. As I already said, Tyreek Hill was dealing with an injury, so not great there. The Chargers defense, who were missing a lot of key pieces, played an incredibly impressive 60 minutes. They took away the middle of the field, which obviously McDaniel loves attacking. Tua obviously also loves attacking. They played very physically. They were able to get away with it. Not a complaint, just saying that sometimes playing that physically, it doesn't necessarily work out due to penalties, but the refs weren't calling it, so they were able to kind of dictate how the Dolphins play, the kind of separation they were getting, and all that. Again, this is the second week in a row where the team looked all out of sorts, and they left the defense out to dry. I know a lot of people want to complain due to the amount of yards the Chargers were able to accumulate, but given that the Chargers were on the field for a solid 2/3 of the game, the defense did a great job in bending and not breaking and only allowing the Chargers to have 23 points. The Dolphins were in it. They almost recovered an onside kick at the very end, but it was not to be. Had Tua played how we think he can, I expected to win. And quite frankly, I just generally expected to win. So I think that's what makes this so disappointing. We think that the Dolphins have turned a corner. We talk ourselves, or at least I talk myself, into believing in the Dolphins, and then it doesn't pay off, and it hurts. It's very sad to say. Hopefully, the Dolphins can rally. They're going to be playing on Saturday night in Buffalo, and it's supposed to snow up to 7 inches, so we're probably going to lose that game too. I'm hopeful, but I'm also realistic in that sense. It just doesn't look great. Buffalo's in a great position to extract some revenge on the Dolphins for that earlier Heat game that we won. But we'll see what happens here. I mean, there's not a ton to be especially optimistic about. I'll be honest, last night, after watching the game, I was kind of ready to be like, see, same old Dolphins. This is what they always do. We're not even going to make the playoffs, but I do still believe in Tua despite having 2 bad games. I think he can lead us to the playoffs. I think we can beat the Packers, if not the Bills this week. The Packers on Christmas. I think we can defeat the Patriots and Jets to close out the season. That would leave us at 11-6. That should get the Dolphins into the playoffs. Granted, losing to teams like the Chargers, losing to teams like the Bengals, and losing to teams like the Jets, who are all most likely going to finish with similar records to the Dolphins, doesn't help, especially with the tiebreakers. So we'll see what happens there. That's about all I have for this Miami Minute. Again, a very, very disappointing Miami Minute. I was hoping that they would win, that they would score a lot of points, but the offense looked bad and the Dolphins lost. So that's where we stand right now. What did you think of the game? I fully expect that if you do comment, you're going to air a lot of grievances. 'Tis the season, as they say. And I think that's fair, and I'd love to hear it. What were your thoughts on the game, and where do you think the Dolphins are headed after this one? If you liked it, please subscribe. We cover the Dolphins every single week, as well as the other 4 major sports, and also the Premier League on this channel, WikiGeek Sports. We're on Twitter, at WikiGeek Sport, at WG Everything, Instagram, WikiGeek Everything, Twitch at twitch.tv/WikiGeek Everything, and on TikTok, search WikiGeek Sports, search WikiGeek Everything, and of course, check out our blog, WikiGeekEverythingSports.com. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next one.